Today, we're breaking down the most common malpractice claims in the emergency department. Understanding these risks is really the first step to improving patient safety.
To give you some context, in high-income countries, about 10% of all hospitalized patients experience some kind of harm. That's the baseline we're all working to reduce.
We're going to organize this into a few sections. We'll start with errors in clinical judgment, then look at failures in process and systems, and we'll finish up by reviewing the data on preventable harm.
Okay, first up, errors in clinical judgment. These claims are all about the cognitive side of things, the diagnostic and treatment decisions made right at the bedside.
This category really breaks down into 4 areas: getting the diagnosis wrong, not ordering the right tests, failing to provide treatment, or providing the right treatment but too late.
Now, misdiagnosis isn't just about an incorrect diagnosis. A delayed one can be just as harmful. The classic example is mistaking a heart attack for simple indigestion, a scenario where every minute of delay really matters.
Failing to order the right test can be a major error. For example, not getting a computed tomography scan, or CT, for a patient with suspected appendicitis doesn't just delay the diagnosis, it can lead to serious complications like a rupture.
There's also a clear difference between a failure to treat and delayed treatment. A failure to treat means nothing was done, like not giving antibiotics for a severe infection. Delayed treatment is a timing issue. The right care is given, but it's given too late, like waiting hours for an X-ray on an obvious fracture.
All right, moving beyond individual decisions, our next category is about failures in processes and systems. Here, the problem isn't a single person's choice, but a breakdown in the protocols and communication that are supposed to keep patients safe.
And as you can see, this is a pretty broad area. It includes everything from medication and anesthesia errors to fundamental breakdowns in communication, patient monitoring, and discharge planning.
Medication errors can happen at any step of the process, from prescribing to actually administering the drug. A seemingly small mistake, like an incorrect dose, can quickly turn a helpful medicine into something harmful.
Communication errors really have 2 sides. First, there are breakdowns between providers, where information gets lost during a handoff. Then there are breakdowns between the provider and the patient, which can result in a lack of truly informed consent.
Monitoring and discharge are 2 more high-risk points. If monitoring is inadequate, a patient's decline might be missed entirely, and an improper discharge can send a vulnerable patient home without the support they need, leading to a bad outcome.
Anesthesia errors often have very serious consequences, and many of them trace back to a single root cause: failing to review the patient's history for allergies or drug interactions. This is a basic failure to follow standard safety protocols.
So for our last section, let's step back and look at the data on preventable harm. This helps put all the errors we've discussed into a wider statistical context.
These errors often lead to what we call direct harm events. This includes things like healthcare-associated infections, such as MRSA, that's methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, as well as surgical errors, patient falls, and pressure ulcers or bed sores.
So just how widespread is this? We know 10% of hospitalized patients experience harm, but the risk is actually 4 times greater in primary and outpatient care, where as many as 40% of patients are affected. And here's what's really significant. Of all the harm that happens in those primary and outpatient settings, a staggering 80% is considered preventable. The most common errors are related to diagnosis, prescriptions, and how medicines are used. This data leaves us with a really important question. If we know the vast majority of this harm is preventable, the challenge then becomes, what system improvements will be the most effective at addressing these events?